What should I buy, the Cirrus Jet or the Eclipse 550? I'm going to need your help on this one. Considering I'm a Cirrus lover, you may be shocked about what I'm going to tell you about Cirrus, something that most people don't know about, and you may change your mind of what you think about Cirrus. So in this video, I'm going to compare the two airplanes to see which one is better. Here's the thing, in 2022, I ordered a Cirrus Vision Jet without even flying it. I did that so I could get on the 4-year wait list. I know, crazy, right? Soon after, I was able to fly this jet for the first time and absolutely fell in love. You should go check out that video. At the same time, I also bought a $1 million Cirrus SR22 Turbo sight unseen. That's how much I used to love Cirrus. But after flying my Cirrus for over a year, there's something about Cirrus you don't know, and when you find out, you are not going to look at Cirrus the same way. That's why I'm debating on buying an Eclipse 550 instead, one of its closest competitors, instead of the acclaimed Cirrus Jet. But I would love to get your input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare these two based on interior, exterior, avionics, cost, and performance. Let's start with the exterior of these airplanes. The drawback of the Cirrus is the look. If you're buying a jet, you want the look of a jet. While you can tell it's a jet, it looks more like a fish. Let's face it. That's the number 2 thing I don't like about the Cirrus Jet. Stay tuned for the number 1 reason I may not go in this direction. The Eclipse 550, on the other hand, looks like a jet. Maybe a Vern Troyer looking jet, but still a jet nonetheless. I think Eclipse could have done a better job making this jet look sexier. Maybe they designed it like that because of the aerodynamics or something to do with cost. But the good thing is you can still tell this is a jet. Even though I'm not 100% satisfied on the look of these planes, you can still tell they're a jet and not a single engine piston. But I can tell you there is a clear winner on the exterior of this plane, and I'll tell you about it here in a little bit. The Cirrus Jet is the only jet under $4 million that I feel like did it right with the interior. The interior is sleek and luxurious. It's modern and it's downright sexy. If you saw the video of my first test flight, you can see the $200,000 Avionics package upgrade that makes it unbelievable.
It's 200K. So, and this is exterior, interior, the aesthetic feel to it. There's sort of a delivery experience that's an upgraded delivery experience that goes around with it.
That may sound like a lot, but if you think about it, that's less than 7% of the purchase price. So to me, I think it'd be worth it. The control panels look really nice. The hand-stitched leather is amazing, and there's even room for 7 people. So you think. I believe the Eclipse 550 misses the mark with the interior. If you buy a jet and fly on this for hours, you want to feel like it's a jet. If I were to buy the 550, the first thing I would do is replace the seats at the very least, but I may even redo the whole interior. Unfortunately, there's no bathroom, but I have a feeling I'm going to figure out a way to put a toilet in there. When I bought my Cirrus SR22, the first thing my wife said is, "Where's the bathroom?" The good thing is that gives me an excuse to upgrade, I think. So if I can figure out the situation with the bathroom, my wife is totally on board. But with either airplane I choose, I'm gonna have to figure that out. They both have great avionics and automations. The Cirrus Jet has a Garmin G1000 that's just like my SR22 Turbo, but a little more of an advanced version. This is one of the reasons that I wanted to fly a Cirrus Jet if I upgraded, is because I would not have as much of a learning curve. The great thing about the Cirrus Jet is that it has synthetic vision so you can see terrain at night, and it also has the auto land features. So if the pilot becomes incapacitated, instead of pulling the parachute, you can push a button and it will land itself. Oh, and I almost forgot the parachute. Just like the SR22, the Cirrus Jet does have a parachute. One of the reasons I was comfortable with flying is because of the parachute. So as long as you're above 600 feet above the ground, you can pull the parachute if you lose your engine or if you go into a spin. Here's a cool statistic. No one has died if they pulled the chute above 1,000 feet, and the parachute has saved hundreds of lives. The newer Eclipses have some unbelievable automations, including the auto throttle. It does not have a parachute and auto land, but it does have 2 engines, so if one goes out, you have the second engine to rely on. Some say that could be potentially more dangerous if you are not trained properly because the airplane could spin, but if you handle it correctly, you should be good. Hopefully, I will never have to find out. The awesome thing about both of these jets is they only require 1 pilot. That is how easy these jets are to fly. Performance-wise, the Eclipse 550 will go higher, faster, and further, although the Vision Jet's unique single engine design contributes to lower operating costs that I will get into later. The Eclipse 550 will go 300 knots, whereas the Cirrus Jet will only go 375 knots. The Eclipse 550 can fly as high as 41,000 feet, where the Cirrus Jet can only go to 31,000 feet. By going higher, you can go faster and have less traffic and fly above the weather. They say the range for a Cirrus Jet is 1,200 nautical miles and the Eclipse is 1,150 nautical miles. I think these numbers are a little bit off, and I will talk about that a little bit later. The Cirrus Jet burns around 4.9 gallons per hour, while the Eclipse 550 burns 6.6 gallons per hour. That may seem like a big difference, but when you consider the Eclipse goes faster, the burn per mile is actually much closer. The Cirrus Jet does carry 2,000 gallons of fuel, while the Eclipse 550 carries only 1,700 gallons of fuel. The takeoff weight is the same, but there's one that carries more when you load the airplane. The Cirrus Jet has 7 seats, where the Eclipse 550 has 6 seats. I will declare the winner in this category, but I think you know who won this one. The cost. Let's look at the cost of these two brand new. The Cirrus Jets are fairly new, so you can't find an older one, whereas the Eclipse 550 has been around for a while, so you can find a cheaper, more affordable one. Buy a Cirrus Jet brand new, it's going to run you about $3.5 million, depending on what features you choose, of course. But even if you find a used one, it's still going to be around $2 million. The Eclipse you can buy brand new for around $3 million. You may be able to find an older model that's $1 million, but of course, the maintenance is going to be higher. The truth is, the cost of the airplane could be the cheapest thing depending on how much you fly. The cost to operate these airplanes is going to be around $2,000 an hour when you take into consideration fuel, maintenance, software, hangar, and cost of capital. And that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. This one is tough. Which one would you buy? I will give you my thoughts here in a little bit. So why am I second guessing Cirrus after flying mine for over a year? I told you you're never going to look at Cirrus the same again. So I paid $1 million for my Cirrus SR22 Turbo. I decided to buy new because I wanted the latest and greatest, and to me, safety was the most important. I could have spent half, but some of the things on the airplane would have been outdated, and there could be more things that go wrong with the airplane. Even though my airplane has 5 seats, you truly can only fly with 4 people if you don't have a lot of luggage and if the people are smaller. If you get a couple people that are pushing 250 pounds and 1 or 2 other people with them, then your distance is going to go down and the amount of luggage you can carry is going to go down dramatically. The most I've had in my airplane so far is me, a safety co-pilot, my wife, and my 4-year-old son with just a little bit of luggage. That was a flight from Catalina Island from San Diego, which was about a 30-minute flight. If my son was grown and we wanted to bring luggage, we would not be able to take that much fuel because of weight, which means we couldn't go that far. I would guess a 1.5-hour trip from San Diego to Vegas would be doable without having to refuel, but not much more. The same thing goes with the Cirrus Jet. It has 7 seats, but there's no way you could fit 7 adults in the airplane unless they were small, very small. That really limits what you can do with this airplane and how far and fast you can go. That is the big downfall with Cirrus that most people don't know until they fly one, which is the reason I do not look at Cirrus quite the same. So let's try and make a decision here. My choice is going to be the Eclipse 550. I want to fly further, faster, and higher. I also want to feel like I own a jet rather than flying something that wants to be a jet. I think Cirrus would still be great if you wanted to fly a couple hours at a time, but if you want to fly at least halfway across the country, you will have to stop too many times to get fuel, and you won't be able to carry near as many passengers and near as much luggage. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. If you're watching this for entertainment, you may say to yourself, why would you waste so much money on an airplane? The truth is, a lot of people like myself use airplanes to save money on taxes, and you can even make money on an airplane. Here's a short clip of a video that I recently did on how I make money on my Cirrus SR22 Turbo. This is how I bought a $1 million airplane that I practically got for free. I'm going to show you how I was actually paid up front for this airplane and how it will be free for the next 10 years. Then if I made $343,000 up front on this airplane, that means I could use that to pay for 125 months or 10 years of payments. And if you want to see me flying a Cirrus Jet for the first time, you can see it here.